not the same as the blue car beat the red car in 4 seconds.
This takes just seconds to find out who's the fastest, and I've always enjoyed that.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of FIA Insider. My name is Paul Wallace and we are here at Santa Pod for the European Drag Racing Championship, and you might be able to tell from the smile on my face just how excited I am to witness this motorsport with my own eyes. Now, I grew up watching the Fast and the Furious movie franchise and playing the Need for Speed games, where street racing was a massive part in the thrill of racing. And I'm here to find out how the FIA have brought street racing into a controlled and safe environment, whilst meeting as many people as possible to see what it takes to enter and compete in this grassroots motorsport. This weekend looks to be absolute carnage, is the best way, from hearing some of the cars go.
Yeah. This series, the FIA Championship, came about from a Top Fuel series that I ran in the 90s called the European Top Fuel Challenge Series. Now we have 4 classes. We have Top Fuel, Pro Mod, which is the real fast door body cars, Methanol, which is like the equivalent of a Formula 3 under Formula 1, and then we have Pro Stock, which is a manufacturer's class equivalent to touring car.
So a lot of the racing that we're seeing actually started as illegal street racing on the streets.
It started illegal on the streets. You then wanted to get kids off the streets onto the tracks. Then it got into classes, rules, sporting regulations, and grew and grew.
Look, with these 2 cars here, I can't wait to see them out on track.
Well, guess what? These 2 cars here are 12,000 brake horsepower. Put 21 cars of the Formula 1 grid, it's still only 12,000 brake horsepower.
I've done a few motorsports with FIA Insider, WEC, touring cars, Formula E. This, in the grand scheme of things, is relatively simple and fast, in the sense that the cars only last about 4 seconds out on track. What's FIA's involvement, and how do you regulate a sport that lasts only 4 seconds?
Well, it's a bit complex, but it's pretty much regulated as all other motorsports we look after as well in the FIA. We have sporting and technical regulations which are very specific. Safety is our main object. Obviously, doing speeds at over 300 miles per hour, 540 k's per hour, safety is really on hand, very important. A lot of regulation, very little homologated parts, so we have a framework for the teams, the engineers, so they build their cars according to this rule book, rather than going to manufacturers like Williams or Mercedes and buy homologated parts. So there's a lot of engineering, which obviously leaves a lot of freedom for the competitors as well to find the little niche to just go a little bit quicker.
Now, these cars are the fastest cars here, is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So how fast are they from the start line to the finish?
Well, the record time in Europe, I believe it's 3.78 to 1,000 foot.
Okay.
Okay. And 300 and I think we got 320 plus miles an hour.
Wow.
Which is very impressive.
Should we have a look at the cockpit?
Please do. Because all we have, our steering wheel, is like we call it butterfly. That's the fuel on and off, and parachute levers and a handbrake.
Wow.
So there's no gear sticks or anything of that.
No Apple CarPlay.
No Apple CarPlay, no. We're trying to get him to install it, but he's not too happy about that.
So when you're on the start line, are you finding a biting point? Is it like a road car in the sense of where you're stuck at a red light and you're waiting for it to go green?
To a certain degree, it's a centrifugal clutch, so the more it spins, the more apply you get on the clutch system. So when Suzanne comes to the line, when she's at the starting line, in fact, she'll take her foot completely off the clutch pedal. So it's slipping.
Wow, okay, yeah.
And on the hit of the gas, when she mashes the pedal, it'll lock up almost instantaneously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that point,
you're away.
How long have you been driving the Top Fuel car?
Now I've been doing it, this will be the third year now, but I did it about 15 years ago for a couple of years, and I had a long break, and now I'm back in it. But I did start with the little ones when I was 10. So I've been in the game for a long time.
So did you start when you were 10? Isn't that how you started racing?
Yeah, I started with the junior ones when I was 10, did that. And then you can start driving these big ones when you're 18. So I did that when I was 18 for about 4 or 5 years. I never did the whole series though, the whole FIA series. I only did events here and there. Then I had a long break and now back full in it.
Can you talk to me a little bit about what it feels like to be a woman in a car so crazy like this, and how exciting it is to see male and female going up against each other?
Yeah, I mean, it's no difference whatsoever. When I was little, as I started, I was 10, I never thought anything of it. I didn't even realise, like in other sports, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if you ask, our kids or any other little girl or racing here, it's like what you on about.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's almost like in other sports, it's like, oh look at here's a woman. We're like,
yeah, because it's
don't really get it, because here it's totally equal. All of my competitors and everything, they would never think anything of it. It's just completely natural and always how it has been.
It must be amazing to be a role model to young girls coming up and seeing you pilot such a jet.
Yeah, that's the thing, because it's so many families, and especially if everyone, all the public can really, come really up close and come and talk to you. As I said, it's really good. It's like, it really is for everyone.
Yeah, no, I've seen the juniors coming up, and there's boys and girls there.
Yeah.
It's so exciting, and then to see them go down the drag strip, it blows my mind, having never seen this with my eyes. So to be here for the weekend, I'm looking forward to seeing more.
I think you won't be disappointed.
Why drag racing in comparison to other motorsports?
It's the most badass thing you can do. Honestly,
That's a good answer. It's a good answer.
It's a fair answer, right? No, so it's so fast. It's the most powerful car you can drive. It's not only the car you drive, it's also the team, seeing the team working on the car. After each round, taking the whole engine apart. I've never seen a team working together like this in any other motorsports.
What's it like to be cockpitting this and piloting this car, knowing that the young kids are watching out there on the grass banks?
It's awesome to see the kids coming up to your pits and coming and talking to you about, I saw you run, this is so awesome, I also want to be a drag racer. I just got yesterday a painting from a kid which walked up to me, so he painted my car and he said, you are one of my role models, and this is one of the greatest things you can hear out of a kid's mouth. Yeah. To hear you being a role model to anybody and giving them a good role. Yeah. Like what they can do for a good way for the future, and believing in their dreams and doing stuff that they wouldn't do otherwise.
Yeah, amazing. Well, it's been awesome to catch up. Can't wait to see the car out there.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'm really excited because out of all of the cars I've seen so far, this is the most demonic. It looks the best in my opinion. It's my favourite car out there, and you're driving it. Can you talk to me a little bit about what it's like?
I love door cars. I'll always enjoy the fact that you can have a car that you can associate yourself with, especially back in the day as a classic. This is a classic body shape of a 71 Barracuda Plymouth, and underneath the body of that is this monster of an engine from Proline, a Hemi engine. And at the front of it is called a Pro Charger. So it's a centrifugal kind of turbo, basically, which is directed straight to the crank. So when you want instant power, it's there.
It doesn't equate to road cars, right? I've seen this go. There's nothing like it on the road. When this takes off, the noise as well. What's it like inside the cockpit?
It's really brutal. It's fierce. It's not for the faint-hearted. You've got to know and understand exactly why you're sitting in that seat. This takes just seconds to find out who's the fastest, and I've always enjoyed that.
There obviously needs to be a lot of safety involved, as you mentioned. And what has the FIA implemented over the last few years that you can touch on?
We obviously work very closely with the governing body, the NHRA in America, because we have to see what is happening there, because the mass of competitors is way bigger, the fields are way bigger, there's way more funding involved. So we look at that as well. At the same time as the FIA, we have to introduce different standards, different regulations which they don't like, they don't accept, or even they're not feasible for them. So it's really a good exchange. We have to work with our competitors as well, because obviously it's not the funding is not here. That it's great teams like in the States where people just have, let's say, Ford Motor Company as a sponsor, and they have 4 of the same cars and can pick which one they can run.
Yeah.
This is more drag racing as such. Even in this level in the FIA, I still call it a bit like a family sport. You will see that this weekend as well. They are competitors as soon as they go to the start line, and at the finish line it stops. They help each other.
Yeah.
They swap parts if they need to because somebody's struggling. It's a different, unique sport. Yeah.
Well, I've definitely just heard some cars go past, which means the cars are going back out for more practice runs. I'm going to head down in that direction. It's great to meet you and listen to everything the FIA are doing. This has been Santa Pod. This has been drag racing, and we are now on the start line, ready to see the cars